How's it going, everyone? It's your boy, Wiley VenomousStare Singleton, back with another StarCraft 2 cast, a 2v2 on Sludge City, and this is my new puppy, Elise, and that's where the camera's going to be pointing this game, so if you're not into StarCraft, got a puppy cam right for you, man. Also, there's a highly likely chance that the dog will hit the keyboard at some point and mess something up, so if you're ready for that as well. So let's introduce the players. On the bottom right hand side of Sludge City, Komodo, the red Protoss. And then his buddy, Ibez, playing Terran. Our cute local heroes in the blue, Out Now, Savagewood playing Terran, that's me. And my partner in crime, Elusive Smoke, aka Spencer. So let's speed this up in the early game. Hello, I forgot to put that down. And we see CC first from Savagewood, as well as gas and gateway, and double gas from Ibez. And then Camp Spencer, the racks with wall and gas. Very smart, safe opening. Then he's going to throw down the factory, so standard shit. Savagewood electing to go delayed gas into 3 racks. That's old school, guys. CC first into 3 racks with no gas. This means that Savagewood will have a lot of units early, but not much tech. And he kills the scouting probe. If we look back if we look back on the red team, looks like a straight up droopy 4-gate with double gas. So a rush coming from our red team, and some sort of 1 base. Just it looks like some kind of tank push off of 1 base. Probably going to use the tank siege and abuse that with medevac, because if you have a medevac in a tank, then the tank really should never die in 2v2. We see Elusive Smoke expansion just finished, and Savagewood's is alive and kicking. And here comes the push from Ibez, and he doesn't have very many Marines, but he has this tank, and this tank is going to be a problem because a medevac is on the way. And the Out Now boys need to be careful as Elusive Smoke. Spencer's Widow Mines get 2 droopy shots off, and we're going to go back to normal speed here as the action's starting to kick up. Savagewood, not realizing the push was going to be this dedicated, has a late bunker. And if we look at Elusive Smoke, he doesn't really have very many units, as both of those Widow Mines died, as you see. A nice shot, and here comes another Widow Mine, boom. So Elusive Smoke, not with a lot of units, but the ones that he has are working very well, as the only detection available for the red team is a scan. So the red team is going to camp on top of the production line of Out Now Savagewood. Very, very dire situation to be in as a Terran player. And as predicted, Ibez, he's going to do this tank abuse, and Savagewood not even having a factory, so he doesn't have a starport or the ability to get Vikings. So, and Elusive Smoke does, but these tanks are very hard to deal with. You see Elusive Smoke losing a full medevac there. That's really bad, because now there's 4 stalkers, and it looks like our Out Now boys are in dire straits and are in deep trouble. Komodo continuing to warp in. Everything in the ordinary. They're just committing to this 1 base all in. Savagewood pulling all of his workers in a last-ditch effort to stop this push. And Ibez might actually lose these tanks here, as he's going to run forward and try to save one, and he does. More Protoss units are surging forward as this empty bunker here for Savagewood needs to be filled, and as Savagewood starts to repair, the units enter. As Ibez's tank has 8 kills, and it's continuing to pound away. We see Elusive Smoke Marauder doing work, and Elusive Smoke's Widow Mines charging forward, doing big damage and actually killing the tank there. So nice on Spencer. And Savagewood's bunker, definitely very important. Needs to repair it there. That's incredibly sloppy. Whoa! Chill. Chill, Elise. Savagewood holding again. He's going to try to kill this tank, and Ibez is not going to pick it up in time. Those Marauders do bonus damage to bonus damage to armored units, so that tank fell very quickly. As we look back in the red team's side of the field, we see a robo coming up for Komodo, as well as an expand and the delayed expand from Abez. So Abez is very, very behind. At least he has these 3 upgrades out of the barracks. And if we look mid-map, Savagewood trying to counterattack but failing, as Komodo was continuing to warp units in across the map and commit more to this pressure. Nice hit from nice Widow Mine hit from their elusive smoke, and that one decides not to go off. That one goes off and gets a nice hit. So Komodo's push extremely neutered by the fact that he didn't have an observer. This needs to be making an observer and needs to be chronoed. And you can see Komodo is very oversaturated. We see a droopy Widow Mine here from elusive smoke. If Komodo does a nice big transfer, that could be a big money shot. If we pull up the income tab, Savagewood extremely far behind after pulling his workers to barely hold, but elusive smoke is very far ahead. As we see elusive smoke putting up lots of new buildings, tons of barracks, couple CCs, and while elusive smoke macros, Savagewood attacks. The yin and yang of 2v2. The most resources lost by far is the Protoss player of this game. Interesting. So 12 workers at this gold base expansion for Komodo, and the depleted main. 4 workers at the gold for Abez, and elusive smoke is mule hammering like no other. Savagewood running forward with the little force here, checking for these side bases, and 2v2 people love to sneak bases, so you always have to watch out for that. And we see Savagewood finally getting starport tech. That 3 racks opening mixed with the all-in really put him far behind tech-wise. But the fact that he has a reactor on the starport is good, because now he can swap them immediately for double medevac production. We see Savagewood tentatively going forward here. Tanks position nicely on this high ground for our red team. And a nice little Widow Mine drop here from, those aren't Widow Mines, excuse me, Marauder drop from elusive smoke. And Savagewood scans and sees that there are tanks there. And that drop is cleaned up nicely. A cannon in the middle line coming down from Komodo. Ooh, big hits from the Widow Mines. And when I say big, I mean 1 kill each. And they're going to die, so pretty flaccid kills from the Widow Mines there. You know, you see that many SCVs and Widow Mines, it has to be good. It's like whenever your actor makes a really shitty movie, you go and see it. Oh, it has to be good. It has Emma Watson in it. And that was the bling ring, so lots of units at this watchtower for Savagewood, and it looks like he's going to try a droopy little double drop here, as elusive smoke is going to have a medevac perish there. Let's see if Savagewood splits. He does. He drops 1 in the natural, and I suspect he'll go 1 in the main. And some nice SCV kills there from Savagewood. Double Liberator immediately put down onto this drop, and Savagewood, not paying attention, is going to lose this drop. He tries to stim out at the last second. Oh! The puppy's trying to type in chat. But moderate damage there from Savagewood, and we see the red team looks like they're going to elect to try another push. And if we go to income, Savagewood is almost caught back up from having, I think, like 6 workers. And elusive smoke is still in the lead, but does not have combat shields on his Marines. He's researching it. Big red army, as you could make a Cold War analogy if you like, but here's the blue team. Wow. Nice little snipe there from elusive smoke. Every little bit counts when it comes to these all-in pushes. Siege tank sieging in the back from Ibez. Elusive smoke with this Liberator on the high ground. Then here comes the stim from our Terran players. Savagewood and elusive smoke conjoining together to fight this red force. These tanks are not in range, and Savagewood immediately boosting 2 more medevacs to join the fray. as the fight is very close, and here are the tanks, and the tanks were not in position, and Ibez loses. And if you're wondering why those tanks weren't in position, probably because there was a drop in his main and he was looking at that. So Ibez multitask being tested by Elusive Smoke right when the push came, and it proved to be too much for him. So I hope you enjoyed the puppy cam. If you did, leave me a subscription and I'll see you later.